All right. So remember that second step I told you to write. That some of you didn't want to do. You may want to do it when you're subtracting more than one term in the numerator. So what this would become would be x squared plus 9x minus, in parentheses, that numerator. What's that numerator? 4x plus 14. All divided by x plus 7. And now you get rid of the parentheses by using distributive property, and so that becomes x squared plus 9x. What else does that become?
Negative 4x.
Minus 4x?
Plus 14.
No. Minus 14. All over x plus 7. Now, combine like terms.
The 5x.
X squared plus 5x minus 14 over x plus 7. And now factor the numerator. What's the numerator?
X plus 7 and then x minus 2.
Over x plus 7. And now the x plus 7 is divided out, and what's the answer?
X minus 2.
X minus 2.
I actually wound up with the right answer.
But
Did it the wrong way to get there.
he got, this is what he did. Remember he got that plus 14? So he factored like this, though. But then I told him, I said, how is this plus 14 going to give you this when a positive times a negative is a positive? So you wouldn't have got any points because you factored in correctly. Okay? All right. So x minus, so that's what you have to do. So you got to be careful when you're subtracting more than one term. And so that's why I wanted you to see how far you can get with that, see what you can do with it. All right, so now let's look at this one. Let's do, so this was number 10. Let's do 14. All right, so let's do 14 now. So 14, now see, now you could do 14. Only one of you got it, so now let's say there are 12 of you. I would say 12 of you better get the 14. Except the one that didn't bring paper and pencil. All right, 14. 3x minus 1 divided by x squared plus 5x minus 6 minus, and then 2x minus 7.
Is it x squared plus 5x minus 6?
Yeah.
X squared plus 5x minus 6. Okay, so you're subtracting, so you got to be careful with subtracting.
That's 2x minus 7.
All right, so let's actually write in the step. Write in that second step. So when you write as one fraction, you say 3x minus 1 minus, in parentheses, what do you put in parentheses?
Then 2x minus 7.
2x minus 7, all over the denominator. Now get rid of the parentheses. So the numerator is 3x minus 1, and what does that become?
Minus 2x
Plus 7. So you distribute the negative 1 over x squared plus 5x minus 6. What's the next step? Combine like terms. What's the numerator? X plus 6. Yeah. And then let's factor the denominator. How do you factor the denominator? Yep. GCF is 1, so do binomials. XX. You know you're not going to try 3 and 2 because the numerator is an x plus 6. So what are you going to try? 1 and 6. So 6 and 1. 6 is negative, so the signs have to be different. So what do you think 6 would be? Remember we talked about that. Make it easy on yourself. It would have to be positive because the numerator is positive. And so therefore, so tell me what you don't say it out, and do it by yourself. What do you think the answer is? Someone said x minus 1, and that person would be incorrect. It's 1 over x minus 1. Yeah, and you see, and that's why I said, exactly why I said, when you cross out, what do you really need to put in their places? Ones. And now you know the numerator is 1, and the denominator is what? X minus 1. So it's 1 over x minus 1. Right? Okay. when you divide out, make sure you put ones in their places, because if all you did was cross them out, and it's happened before, it's very common error people make. They cross them out and all they see is an x minus 1 and say the answer is x minus 1. But that's in the denominator. What's in the numerator? The numerator is a 1. Now, if it was the other way around, if it was x minus 1 and all you had in the denominator is 1, then you can just say what? X minus 1. Okay, so any questions at that point? All right. Okay, so then what's going to happen in the next section is the denominators will be what? Different. And so remember, when you added fractions with different denominators, what did you have to find first?
The greatest common denominator.
The least common denominator, the LCD. The LCD. So the rest of this section, section 7.3, the rest of that section has to do with talking about LCDs. Then the next section is where you actually deal with unlike denominators. So we only did half of this section. So we're going to finish the other half next class period. All right. So remember I told you I left